What's up, everybody? This is Jay from OpenSea Films, and I feel like everybody kind of opens their YouTube videos like that, don't they? So, hello everybody, this is Jay from OpenSea Films. Today we're doing something a little bit different, and we're launching our first episode of Crash Course After Effects. I feel like I said effects like 15 times. I'm just going to show you how to make stuff in After Effects, so we're just going to take you through some processes to learn cool stuff. Today's episode, we're building a space scene looking out the windows of the International Space Station at a cool galaxy and some nebula, first taught to us by David at DOD Media. Here's a link to the video, and trust me, that dude's is way better. We just thought we'd copy it and start with something a little bit easier so that all of us could follow along and start learning After Effects together. We're going to look out the windows and see some cool spacey stuff. We're going to be looking at space through the windows of the International Space Station. Just a little opportunity for me to teach you. Now, I promise you it's not going to be very good. It's not going to go very smooth, but I guarantee you're going to have a little bit of fun and learn something along the way. So let's jump into After Effects and see what kind of mess we can make. I apologize for the audio. We'll be working on that for the next video, but for now, you'll just have to suffer through it. Have fun. So, create a new composition. We're going to do we'll name it Space Station, and that'll load up. And then we're going to create, I don't like it, so we'll create a new Space Station comp, call it Space Station 1, set it to HD TV 24 frames per second, 1920 by 1080. We'll do full res and make it 20 seconds long. So 20. And it seemed, this ain't called Crash Course, but it seems we had one there already. So, I don't know, let's create new folders over here, and we'll do comps, put everything in there. We'll do another folder, and call this one, footage. And that's where we're going to put all our, pictures and stuff. And then we're going to import multiple files, and we're going to pick, Earth, and we're going to look through some of our stuff and keep going. And this actually, this one's the space station window. Sounds pretty good. And we're going to look for a couple more here. And let's see. We'll do this Milky Way, another space station. Maybe we'll drag in this nebula-looking thing in the Milky Way or galaxy there, and this space image looks okay. So we'll import those. And import all your stuff. Then we'll bring in this last thing. We'll get the glove that we're going to need in here. There we go. There's a glove. And we'll put that in there. So the first thing we're going to do, right, is drag in this, one of these. This one looks cool. We'll just, geez, I'm pretty bad at this. So we'll drag in this thing. We'll hit enter, rename it BG. It's really big, so scale it down. Zoom in a little bit. We'll make it a 3D layer, and by that you'll let's start a new camera, actually, because these are going to be 3D. So new camera, new null. We're going to hit enter and call this camera controller, and then we're going to take this swirly thing, it's called a pick whip, and connect it to the null object, which is basically like an empty holder layer. And we'll make this 3D by clicking the 3D cube right there, and we'll push it way back in Z space, and we're gonna, I don't know, like 20,000, something like that. And then we're gonna make it bigger because we can't see it, so we'll scale it up. And yeah, that's a lot of fun. We'll scale it up. And then we're going to go to Effects, Color Correction, Curves. And we're just going to kind of darken it down a little bit because there's really not a ton of light out there. Yeah, ton of light. So then we're going to darken it down. And we'll play with these settings a little bit. You know, for a filmmaker, I'm not very good at color correction, but I think this looks okay. Nice and blue. So, I don't know, we'll keep fiddling with these and just pushing these little lines around, and I don't know, maybe it'll just look better if by accident, possibly, maybe. Whoa. So that was crazy. And we'll just keep playing with that until we get something that we think is pretty fun. So let's go back to the project window, and now we're going to bring in the blue planet pick, put it above the background. And we're going to it's kind of dark, and the light comes up from the left. And, you can switch modes by hitting F4 or toggle, and we're going to set that to a screen mode. Maybe that doesn't work. Let's do multiply. No. Add. Yeah. Let's do add. And we're going to put it over here in the corner. Here's itchy. And scale it up. So it looks like, you know, Earth in space. And that's kind of fun. So we're doing Earth, right? And we get that guy there, and we get this annoying blue friggin' circle. This is why it's a crash course. I'm not awesome, but we're gonna try to make this thing look pretty fun with this little beginner's project we're doing. But so you get this blue earthy thing. So what we want to do now is we will type in curves on the Video Copilot FX console that you can get for free from videocopilot.net, and we'll play around with these lines here, and wow, we definitely don't want to do anything like that, but we'll mess around with that, and this is fun. Yep. So we'll pull the light out of there and hopefully get that down. So there's a lot of blue there still. Let's pull the blue channel down, turn the planet very unrealistic looking. And then we'll take this little pen over here, select the planet layer, and draw this shape kind of around the circular. And if you play with these little handles there, you can actually curve the line, which is kind of nice. We want to go all the way around, and hopefully that cuts out that light. We still have this, that shuts the mask off this little car window. But anyway, we still have this weird, annoying blue thing, so let's try to feather it by hitting M and then F on the layer, and we're just gonna, actually that dims it down. So we're just gonna just say fuck it and delete it, and let's do something different. Crash course in After Effects and making something look cool. Next, we're gonna go through these pictures that I know about and try to figure out where this little spiral galaxy is, and we'll drag that out. We're going to check out what it looks like screen, and then looks alright. So let's try normal. We're not going to leave it at normal, but we're going to put it where we want to put it. And we're going to go to the pen tool. Probably, yeah, we'll go to the pen tool and we'll draw kind of the shape around the area. Around the area? Yeah, around the area, right? And then we're just going to cut this black edge off. And that's pretty fine right there. Let's do a little adjustment, tweak it, and we'll shut that off. Let's hit M, change it back to add, not screen. And then we will actually add it back in and then back to screen because multiply doesn't work. But let's go back to screen because I think screen looks good. That was crazy, right? That was a lot of fun. Then we'll hit M, feather out the mask a bunch just to kind of smooth the hard edge that you saw, and we'll call it right there. So then we're going to go to Effect, Color Correction, Curves. You guys can always pause this if I'm going too fast and just kind of try to keep up with this if you're trying this at home. And we're just going to pull down the lightness and pull down that thing, add a little light back in so the center kind of pops out. So it adds a little lightness to it, and I'll consider that pretty good. This tutorial is actually a copy, so I'm actually taking this from somewhere else, but it seems like a good project for us all to do together so that we can learn how to do some cool stuff. And as time goes on, we'll get complicated. You know? So what we're going to do is we made it 3D and we pushed it back into Z space. And then I lost it, and I have no idea where it went. I have no idea. I lost a galaxy. Oh, here's a giant galaxy down here. Let's just scale that down and bring it back to where it needs to go, and then we will push it back in space manually and scale it up so that it looks kind of big. And we're just gonna put it there in the corner where we're gonna get, a decent look at it. And then if you click this camera control, make it a 3D layer, what you'll see is as you push this back, it controls the camera, and you can kind of tell that the galaxy is in like three-dimensional space. It looks like the camera's flying by it, and that's pretty cool. That's a cool effect to have when you're doing, when you want it to seem like you're in a three-dimensional area with 2D images. So that's a lot of fun. So next we are going to close this out, and we're going to bring in this. Are we going to bring this in? Do we want to do that? Or do we want to bring in the windows first? No, let's bring in this nebula looking thingamajig. Put that above the space layer. Make it 3D. And we're just going to scale that up. Move it to kind of here. I guess that's a good spot. And then let's get the pen tool. Draw a little shape around there so we kind of cut that black edge off and connect it. And then we have that. Shut the mask off with that car window looking thing. And you see that edge, we just want to, again, we'll change this to screen. And then we'll feather the mask by hitting M and F and feather it quite a bit. 78 or so, 80, and then that, see, it kind of blends in with the background there. So that looks pretty good. And then we'll push it back. Actually, we won't push it back. Will we push it back? Let's push the galaxy back to 15,000 or so. That looks good. And then we'll scale it up, kind of reposition it, and then we will let's push it back to, like, I don't know, a bunch. 10,000. That's a good number. Yeah, 10,000. Let's do 10,000. We'll scale it up, bring it back over where it's pretty cool looking, and scale it up and down, and place it in its home. That's where you live, Nebula. And then if we mess with this camera thing again, right, you can see it kind of moves at a different rate, a different place than the galaxy. The camera kind of goes past it as it moves, and that's a ton of spacey fun. So yeah, let's take a station break for a second here. And this video is brought to you by hackjobaftereffects.com. Watch there be a real website called Hackjobs in After Effects or something. But anyway, let's get back into this. We're making a 2.5 dimensional 3D looking space scene that we actually got and tried out from this other guy, and here's his name and a link to the original project. But again, we could be copycats, and that's okay if you call me a copycat, but we just wanted to work together on something easy, something that I could practice, and something that we could go through beginner style to help us all learn, how to do some cool stuff with Adobe After Effects. And I figured we'd copy something that's easy so that we could kind of just get our feet wet together before I got into some crazy stuff with some of my more original effects that you saw, like the So we're going to slow it down right here. After shutting off this mask with the car window thing, You notice these pipes right there, and they just kind of look pretty cheesy, so I tried to adjust it, and it doesn't look awesome. And I know this is like crash course rookie stuff in After Effects, but one thing that you really want to do is try to make things look as real as possible. You know, some of these windows you could get away with cutting out certain things, but this one you really can't. So we're gonna go over this again, and we're just gonna take this big section and let's start the mask over again. We're gonna curve it here, and we're gonna come around the pipe, and then come around this a boom box or whatever this thing is, this big spaceshipy box thing, and I think we can probably just cut this handle out, and that's fine, but we really want to make sure that some of these items are back into the shot, because otherwise you saw it looked pretty like weird, and I know I'm a hack and everything, but you really want to try to make it look as good as possible, because a keen eye will definitely be able to see it. So we're just going to reopen this mask and feather it 5 and just turn this off and see what it looks like. Not too bad. Let's give it a little bit of an adjustment so that the bright blue there doesn't shine through on the edges. And then we're going to make another mask here and carry on with the fast forward process. And I made another shape layer. God damn it. Delete and mask. Don't forget to select your layer before you draw a mask, because if you don't, you'll end up with a shape layer, and that's more motion graphics than video effects. So onward, fast forward. So now I'm going to come back to this section here. We finished out our kind of like squarey, rectangle-y shaped windows, and we're going to do this big circle one in the middle. And for that, what we want to do, we have an easy way, instead of like dragging everything, we're going to click this little shape up here, the ellipse tool, and we're going to click in the middle, hold shift, and it'll start making a circle, and then add the control button. So control shift click, and it's going to move it kind of centered, and just drag it out so you get like a circle that's kind of close here, and then you're going to make a couple little tweaks with the selection tool, this arrow, and we're going to just kind of double click and tweak it to fit better. And that's pretty cool here, and this is good right there. Same process, subtract the mask, feather it, M, F, feather, like maybe 5, and that'll smooth out the edge. And there we have our scene. We've got our space we can see outside the windows here, and that's pretty good. So the next thing we want to do is just kind of turn on this camera control again and move the background. Click on the camera control, not the background. Oh yeah, we're moving again. Why isn't this thing moving? Oh, so one thing I forgot, make it a 3D layer and scale it back up. But first I'm going to check to see where this nebula and galaxy is. And then I'm going to go to the space station and type in, actually I'm just going to push it back in space and scale it up. And I'm going to push it back a little further first to like 4,000, 3,000 something. let's just type in 3000. And we're going to scale it up now, officially, which is cool. Now we have a space station window we're looking out of. Very scenic, very nice, very vacation-y. And let's play around with the camera control, and there you go. So you see your space station's moving, your camera's going to go through the window, and you see space. And that's cool. Don't worry about the edges you saw there. We're just going to figure that out in a minute. So I'm going to select the space station layer, kind of drag it out a little bit bigger than the frame. Just so as the camera moves, you don't get that edge. Let's just move this around and see if we can get a little bit of both nebula and space station in the windows. Let's see what it looks coming back. It's not too bad. So there we go. And that's just like, that's so realistic right here. So yeah, let's bring the camera back. That's a pretty good spot right around here. I believe is the original spot. Let's play around with this. Seems I'm just moving the windows now instead of the camera again. This is why it's, again, crash course in After Effects. Alright, so that looks alright. I'm going to select the galaxy and kind of bring it into view a little bit better. So that's not too bad right here. Let's bring it back towards the space station, and it comes through the window, and we can still see it in the window, so that's pretty good. Just play around with it until you get something you like. You can see that galaxy right there, and that's pretty fun. So one thing we noticed here is that the glass, the window area, it kind of just looks like a purple hole to space, and there's like nothing between you and space. It's just kind of like space station and then space. I would assume a space station like this would have some kind of space glass. So let's do some space glass. So we have this glass texture. You can see it's very dark, but that's all right. So you were just on it, and it's called glass dirt. Get it together. So we're going to drag the glass dirt in over all the other layers. We're going to make it, let's check the position. We're going to make it 3D. Then we're going to change this to like 3001, just so it's behind, in front of the space station rather. And we're going to scale it up to just fit in that area of the window. And we're going to shut off this camera controls, move this around, hit the glass dirt, move it to a point that you kind of like. And then we're going to change the mode, F4, to color dodge is okay. Screen seems pretty good. Looks like there's something there now. As you can see, it kind of gets in the way of space, and it looks kind of like a see-through thing. Important fact, if you're going to do a screen, you need like a totally black background works best. So then we're going to duplicate it, drag it over to this little guy, and position it where we want it. And maybe rotate it. Looks like it's actually rotated to the inside of the space station. So let's actually turn that back around. And then we're going to duplicate it and drag it over to the window opposite. And we're going to check that out. We got those two windows now. So let's duplicate it again. Drag it down here. Rotate it to fit the window with the hitting W, or select the layer and hit R, but I like W for the rotate tool. I know that's corny, but that's actually true. And just kind of play with the Z-axis rotation so that it lines up with that window. Go to the selection tool, drag it down so it kind of fits, and notice that box is not really being affected, which is fine. And then we're going to check this out, duplicate it again, drag it to the opposite window, and just plop it right in there. That should work. And duplicate it again. Rotate it to fit the window on the Z or Z axis. That's that blue arrow. And we're going to duplicate it, drag it over here. And there we have it. We have windows. And one thing you can do is select all of the glass dirt things. Right click, hit pre-compose. Let's move all attributes into the new composition. Call this glass panes. My spelling's painful. And then you notice this crazy stuff like, whoa, what just happened? That's all black. This is bad. Jay, what did you just tell us to do? So there's solutions to this. And one thing you do, number one, is make it 3D. And hit this little gear looking thing. That's called collapse transformations. And I don't actually know what that means, but it makes things right again when they're not working most of the time. And it actually just corrects all the stuff that is broken outside and just makes it better. So you probably could pick whip it, but I don't think you have to. So let's check that out first, actually, before connecting those two layers with the swirly. Actually, yeah, it looks like they're moving with. Yeah, it looks like they're moving with the space station. So I think we can try leaving that there. Okay, so let's move on. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring this, where is it? Glove. We're going to bring this glove down above all the layers. And as you see, we bring this glove in. It's got this great white background, and it doesn't really fit a space scene very much because it's got a big white background. So we're going to have to fix that so it could actually blend or look like it belongs inside of the spaceship. Let's scale it up a little, as if a hand was going to go in there, make it 3D, and we're going to have to play with its scale a little bit again. We're going to push it forward. Let's put it back a little bit. It's in the hundreds, pretty much, like 500. Scale it up so that it's in front of all the other layers. Let's put it in a nice spot here. Close this down. We'll hit enter. No, control space for the, what are we doing? Control space for the effects console from videocopilot.net for free. And we're going to go to color key. So color key, we're going to hit this dropper, select the white background, and turn up the color tolerance so you see it start to disappear there. And you see it's still a little bit, so you can kind of play with this edge thin property and kind of rein it in, or strobe light effect, but rein it in maybe 1.5, 2, and that white border is now gone. And then you just want to feather the edge, not too much. Yeah, I'm going to just bring it back a little bit here, like 4-ish. So it looks like there's a glove in the scene now. It is a little light. It stands out a lot. So one thing we can do is kind of put it in position and actually let's actually animate it first. I mean, a glove's not just going to sit there, so it's actually going to do something. So let's click on this stopwatch. We're just going to create that keyframe, and we're going to drag out the timeline to kind of where we want it to start moving. And we need to think this scene is in motion, so we're not going to see it right away. So let's try 12 seconds, and we're going to set a keyframe. Come up to 16 seconds, and we're just going to pull it out here a little bit, not too much, so that it seems like it's, let's take it back. But that's so it seems like it's floating. So what we're going to do is just check this out. It's going to kind of float into the scene, and I'm going to render it out. And it's just slightly moving into the shots. It seems like it's floating in the space station. doing some things, which is cool. So then we're going to select those, and we're going to hit F9 to easy ease. That means they come in kind of like it slowly comes in, speeds up, and then it slowly eases back when it stops. It doesn't just abruptly stop or abruptly start. Oops, move the timeline there. So this here will show you the motion better. So what this is, a graph editor, a speed editor, and it's a slow, gradual movement, and then a slow, gradual movement out. Now you can pull this, and what that means is actually a slower movement in, and then see that steep pitch, it will actually move out faster and then ease to a stop. Technically, you don't need this keyframe, but we'll just leave it there. So now let's rotate this glove, because it's not just going to float straight across the air, right? So a glove in space is probably rotating. If like astronaut man, tapped it, it's gonna roll. So we want to rotate it on its Z axis, which is the middle-ish area. So we're going to go to this keyframe, and we'll set the Z rotation keyframe with this little diamond. And we're going to go to the next keyframe, which you can do either by dragging it over it, or you can hit K, J to go back, K to go forward to the keyframe. And we're just going to hit the W key or adjust it here and rotate it 45, 70, 50, I don't know, pick a number, 62 degrees, that's a good one. Select both keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease. That'll give us that smooth easing motion. You see here, it kind of floats in as it's rotating. Looks like an astronaut just kind of let it go. And it's just kind of floating around in a space scene, which is kind of fun. And then we're going to just close that down. Let's add a color correction curves. And we're just going to pull this down, give it some contrast, make it a little darker. Bring this curve up to like a kind of an S shape, which is a contrasty curve. So just make some details pop and darkens it up. A lot of cinematic stuff uses that. So maybe this dark spacey glove floating through our space station. And then let's just move it. Do we need to? Because no, that's right. We're not going to see it as we're out there in space and we come in. So we can probably just leave it there until we hit like 12 and a half, 13 seconds or so. So let's check this out. Remember, hit the null, not the background. All right, so let's hit P. Hit the stopwatch, set a keyframe, bring it all the way to 14. I mean to say the end. Bring it all the way to the end. Or 18 or 16. Let's do 16. And we're going to zoom it all the way back through the windows into the space station. As you can see, the glove is still kind of almost done with its animation. Boy, I'm talking like I'm drunk. I swear I'm not drinking, officer. Let's play that through a little bit. Check this out. And we come through the window. A lot of detail outside the window. The window gives it a little more realism. We can see our space station. And then we're coming into the space station. And our space astronaut glove. Cue the glove. And here it comes floating on in. Give us a wave. And that's pretty much it. So let's just make sure we're good there. And there we have it. This is Jay, OpenSea Films, signing off, and I'll see you next time. Alright guys, that's it. Thanks for watching our tutorial on the space station scene. Next time, maybe we'll do a special effect. Next time, let's do a tutorial. Maybe we'll combine the both and do a special effects tutorial. But until then, please like and subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when we upload a new video. And don't forget to share this thing. And if you really like, just, punch the like button in the face and Let us know what you think in the comments below. Be honest, don't be afraid, and we'll see you next time.